Okay, good evening, and thank you for joining us today, and welcome everyone to our talk on Thanksgiving. Today I'm going to be joined by Mr. Stevenet. Thank you for being here, Mr. Stevenet.
Thanks to you.
I'm also joined by our Spanish coordinator of Kinder, Primary and Junior High, Mr. Antonio. Thank you for joining us this evening, Mr. Antonio.
Hola, buenas tardes.
And finally, myself, Mr. Frost, Kinder Coordination and Public Relations. So let's get started on the topic of Thanksgiving. Please feel free, if you have any questions or comments, to leave a message below, and we'll be more than happy to assist you at the end of the meeting. We will start with Mr. Estevenet, who is going to talk us through about the history of Thanksgiving and give us some background information about the topic. Thank you, Mr. Estevenet.
Thanks to you, Mr. Frost. Good evening, everyone. It is a great to be here with you again. This time we are presenting the topic, what do you know about Thanksgiving? Knowing our school is strong in bilingual education, we would like to address this presentation in bilingual mode too. That is why you are going to listen fragments of this presentation in English and also in Spanish. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. I'm starting with the background of Thanksgiving around the world and how different countries celebrate this tradition. Let's start with USA. USA, Thanksgiving is a federal holiday celebrated on the fourth Thursday of each November. It is sometimes called American Thanksgiving if you are outside the United States. And it's originated as the Harvest Festival, and to do this day, the centerpiece of Thanksgiving celebrations. Remaining Thanksgiving dinner, the dinner traditionally consists of foods and dishes indigenous to the Americas, namely like turkey, potatoes, usually mashed potatoes, turkey stuffing, squash, corn, maize, green beans, cranberries, and typically in a sauce form. And also the famous pumpkin pie, which is delicious. Thanksgiving is regarded as being the beginning of the fall-winter holiday season, along with Christmas and the New Year in the American culture. The event that Americans commonly call the first Thanksgiving was celebrated by the Pilgrims after their first harvest in the New World in October of 1621. This feast lists 3 days, and as recounted by attendee Edward Winslow, was attended by 90 Native Americans and 53 pilgrims. The New England colonists were accustomed to celebrate Thanksgiving for them, were the days of prayer, thanking to God for blessings such as harvest and military victories also, or the end of a drought. Thanksgiving has been celebrated since 1789 with a proclamation by President George Washington. So you may see that that is very, very ancient. There is something that I really like about Thanksgiving, and that is desfile de Thanksgiving. Now this portion is going to be in Spanish. Desde 1924 en la ciudad de Nueva York, la cadena de tiendas departamentales Macy's organiza anualmente el desfile de Thanksgiving que se celebra a la mañana siguiente de la tradicional cena. Este desfile cruza por las calles más importantes de Manhattan y es uno de los eventos televisivos más vistos en Estados Unidos y algunos otros países. En este desfile participan tradicionalmente artistas del momento, actores, acróbatas, bandas de musicales estudiantiles y globos monumentales con los personajes de moda, y cierra el invitado principal, que siempre es Santa Claus. The oldest Thanksgiving Day parade, it is the Philadelphia's Thanksgiving Day parade, which launched in 1920. There's another tradition at Thanksgiving, which is the American football. It is an important part of the many Thanksgiving celebrations in the United States. A tradition that dates to the earliest era of the sports in the late 19th century. Professional football gamers are often held on Thanksgiving Day. Until recently, there were the only games played during the week, apart from Sunday or Monday night. The National Football League has played games on Thanksgiving for many years. This year, the match is between 4 teams: Detroit Lions versus Houston Texans, and Dallas Cowboys versus Washington Redskins. If you are a fan of football, that's for sure that you're going to have a great time over there. Also, the next portion is in Spanish. Me gustaría comentarles mi experiencia sobre cómo es un día antes de la cena de Thanksgiving. En la mañana llegan familiares y amigos a ver si falta algo para la cena y lo que haga falta lo completan. Alguien que normalmente es la jefa de la casa se pone a cocinar desde muy temprano y a fuego lento el tradicional pavo. En mi caso, yo soy el que prepara en mi casa el pavo. Y déjenme decirles que la verdad es que me queda bastante bien. Una de mis mejores creaciones ha sido el pavo al tequila. Muy bueno. Como parte de la tradición, uno está preparando la cena y al mismo tiempo está viendo los partidos de fútbol para la tarde. Los invitados empiezan a llegar y se les ofrece un eggnog, que en español sería rompope. A diferencia de México, este no tiene alcohol. Incluso uno puede ir a la tienda y conseguir el rompope en Estados Unidos al ladito de la leche porque pues, los niños lo pueden consumir ya que no tiene alcohol. Al llegar la cena, se pone el pavo en la mesa y cada uno de los invitados expresa pequeños comentarios de agradecimiento o prosperidad para que todos los presentes se sientan acogidos por esta tradición. La cena por lo regular termina antes de las 11 de la noche, no se prolonga mucho y todos se despiden y se van a su casa. There is another tradition that I really like, that is the turkey pardoning. Since 1947, the National Turkey Federation has presented the President of the United States with one live turkey and two dressed turkeys in a ceremony known as the National Thanksgiving Turkey Presentation. John Kennedy, the President John F. Kennedy, was the first president reported to spare the turkey given to him. He said, he didn't plan to eat that bird, so I'm going to keep it. And also another famous president, which was Ronald Reagan, was the first to grant the turkey as presidential pardon, which jokingly present to this 1987 turkey. The turkey was sent originally the turkey is sent to a petting zoo and live for so many years. Me gustaría expresarles otra experiencia que he tenido con respecto al pavo. Viniendo de una familia hispana y viviendo por muchos años en la ciudad de Houston, en Estados Unidos, en mi casa seguimos las tradiciones de Estados Unidos y de México por muchos años. Mi familia y su servidor hemos comido 2 veces al año pavo, que a lo mejor para muchos van a decir, ¿por qué 2 veces, verdad? Un día es el Día de Acción de Gracias, que es comúnmente en donde en Estados Unidos todo el mundo come pavo. Y la otra, como en México se acostumbra que el 25 de diciembre un pavo se come en esa cena, se come otro pavo también. Entonces, en Estados Unidos se puede conseguir un pavo más o menos entre 50 y 80 dólares, es un buen pavo, de buen tamaño. Y después de Thanksgiving, los pavos los rematan en las tiendas de autoservicio, ya que no es tradicional que se coma pavo después, el 25 de diciembre. Entonces hemos llegado a conseguir pavos de apenas 3 dólares. Es por eso la razón en donde, en especial en mi familia, hemos consumido pavo 2 veces al año. Una porque la verdad es que es la tradición de Thanksgiving y la otra es porque están bastante baratos y bien de precio. There is another country that celebrates Thanksgiving, and that is Canada. In Canada, there's also celebrate Thanksgiving Day. They call it Jour d'Action de Grâce, sometimes called Canadian Thanksgiving outside of Canada. To distinguish it from the American holiday of the same name, it is annual Canadian holiday occurring on the second Monday of October. So it's not celebrated the same time or same day that it is in the United States. The harvest and other blessings of the year, Thanksgiving has been officially celebrated as an annual holiday in Canada since November 6, 1879. The Governor General of Canada issued a proclamation extending a day of general Thanksgiving to Almighty God for the bountiful harvest which Canada has been blessed, to be observed on the second Monday of October. There is another country, which is England. Some across the UK celebrate Harvest Festival. However, this is held early than Thanksgiving is. Each year, Thanksgiving falls on the last Thursday in November. The Harvest Festival takes place on the Sunday closest to the harvest moon. This year, the Harvest Festival fell on Sunday, October 4th. There is another country, and believe me, this is a kind of very different costume or tradition. Este es Japón. En Japón, ¿cómo es el Día de Acción de Gracias? Japón no celebra el Día de Acción de Gracias como se celebra en Estados Unidos, pero tiene una costumbre muy parecida a Thanksgiving. Tiene una celebración que está muy cercana a Thanksgiving y se llama Kingro Kansha, o el Día de Dar Gracias por el Trabajo, por la salud o por la prosperidad. En Estados Unidos la tradición es dar gracias en un sentido abstracto, pero en Japón es mucho más específica. En Japón es darle las gracias literalmente a la población que hace posible que la vida en este país se pueda vivir de una forma civilizada. En las escuelas, los alumnos hacen cartas de agradecimientos a maestros, policías, trabajadores del gobierno por llevar en armonía el país. En lugar de tener una cena con pavo, la tradición más reciente en Japón es que se coma en la cena pollo de una cadena muy famosa que se llama Kentucky Fried Chicken. Y las colas ese día pueden llegar a ser de 2 o 3 cuadras, porque la gente está acostumbrada a ir a comprar su pollo a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Muchas veces lo que hacen es colocan su pedido 2 semanas antes para ir solamente a recoger su pollo de Kentucky Fried Chicken y cenarlo ese día. Si no tiene acceso a este producto, pueden comer arroz y pescado. Como pueden ver, las tradiciones cambian mucho de país a país. The Thanksgiving in Mexico. Thanksgiving is celebrated mostly by the American population living in our country. It is seen by the Mexican people also as a time to give thanks to God for all the blessings they have been granted throughout of the year. Before the meal begins, it is common for each guest to deliver a short prayer or gratitude. While the religious aspect of the holiday is still present in many American households, this variation keeps the tradition alive among the American community with their own celebration. It's especially prevalent in Mexico. The food in a Mexican-American Thanksgiving, it is rich in foods that are typically found in the area. There are some similarities to the American Thanksgiving, but with a colorful, spicy Mexican flair. While many families eat the traditional Thanksgiving turkey, others prefer a traditional dish like marinated roast pork. If there is a turkey on the table, you may find that it is prepared in a green or red mole or with a spicy chipotle peppers. Turkey enchiladas, there also are being served on that dinners, or are also popular in or many north regions of Mexico. Other foods commonly found at Mexican Thanksgiving fest includes pumpkin soup and candy pumpkin, or the pumpkin pie. Instead of a cranberry sauce, you may find cranberry salsa with cilantro and some chiles. So you may know that in Mexico, the American population, they've been adapting what are the foods they have here in our country. Now, I'm leaving you with Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenet, for giving us an insight into the history of Thanksgiving. I would now like to talk to you about some of the values Thanksgiving brings and some of the main qualities this celebration brings to us. When we talk about Thanksgiving, we are reminded of how thankful we should be and how grateful for everything we have. But Thanksgiving can evoke many different values which at MLK we also follow and try to adhere to. For example, when I think personally of Thanksgiving, the first thing that comes to my mind is family. I'm sure you've all seen pictures of Thanksgiving in the States or watched TV showing people during this time. And for me, what really stands out is the bonds between families. I can really relate to this, and I think it's a great thing to see. Thanksgiving brings families together and reminds us of the importance that each member brings. Whether you're the mum, the dad, the grandparent, the uncle, the cousin, the child, or even the pet, we can see that during this time, everyone comes together and they unify. I have seen the importance of families living in Mexico and how very close bonds are formed between each family member. We should all be grateful for our families and remember during this period of time how special they are. Family for me really relates to our school MLK. To me, we are all one big family, interconnected to one another. Each member plays a role, from the student to the teacher, to the administration, the coordinator, the principal, the directors, and the list goes on. We are all connected, working together to make everything run and operate at its best, just like one big family. Sharing is also another value which comes to mind, and it stands out for me during Thanksgiving. I've witnessed many Thanksgivings celebrations at Martin Luther King, and it's always nice to see. Students are often found bringing food into school with all kinds of different selections. I have had students bring in food like chilaquiles, hot dogs, tacos, turkey, potatoes, the list goes on. But what is not important for me is the types of food each person brings, or whether one piece is delicious and the other is not to someone's taste. What is important is that everyone comes together, brings their plate, shares and offers to one another. We have teachers, cleaning staff, principals, all mixing with the students during this time. Everyone brings their plate and everyone really gets stuck in. This is a great value to teach and promote to our students. So when they eventually leave school in years' time, they will remember the importance of sharing and implement it into wider society. Another value which comes to mind for me during Thanksgiving is being helpful and supportive. It's really important during this period of time. And it's a value which is shared during Thanksgiving. We can all be helpful in lots of different ways, and it's important to share these values and ideas with the students at the school. Again, I have witnessed this characteristic from many of my students whilst teaching at Martin Luther King, whether it's coming together and creating class presentations in junior high, supporting one another in primary with science projects and open classes, or even sharing colours and crayons with everyone inside the kinder classroom. We all know how to be helpful for one another and support each individual. This again is a key skill students need as they progress into adulthood. Being helpful is not just about sharing work or materials. It's also about being supported emotionally. If we ever find someone upset or worried, we need to be able to support and give advice and encouragement. We are all one big family, and the individual is only as good as the collective they are in. The last one that I would like to talk to you about is the word of reflection. Again, this is another characteristic of Thanksgiving which springs to my mind. And what we often see during this time is family members and friends joining hands around the dinner table and reflecting and sharing with one another things that they're grateful for, and it really reminds us of how lucky we are. We are in a difficult period of time right now with the pandemic, and everything seems dark and depressing, but we must remember to stay positive and reflect on the good aspects of our life. Even if it's something you think is small and minuscule, we must remember to reflect on the good and always try and deflect on the bad. This is a value we will be promoting to the students at the school. Reflect on the good. Reflect on how lucky we all are to remain healthy. Reflect on how we are all lucky to keep learning. Reflect on how important our family is to us and how fortunate we are to have one another by our side. So, thank you very much for listening to some of the key values that Thanksgiving brings to us. We hope to incorporate this to all of our students tomorrow with lots of different celebrations. But for now, I'll pass you over to Mr. Antonio. Thank you very much, Mr. Antonio.
Gracias, Mr. Steve. Bien, yo quiero iniciar compartiendo con ustedes que hace aproximadamente 20 años yo tuve una parte de mi vida un tanto diferente en la península de Baja California y pude convivir, pude estar muy cercano a personas de muchos diferentes países, en particular estadounidenses y canadienses. Fue en ese tiempo de mi vida que pude compartir con ellos la celebración del Día de Acción de Gracias. Y ciertamente, como ya lo describió Mr. Jorge, pude darme cuenta de todos los diferentes platillos y esas estupendas recetas, pero también me di cuenta, por ejemplo, que no es solamente el tipo de comida, sino que hay que comer mucho. Este día es un día de comer y comer en abundancia también. Pude estar en muchas ocasiones con personas de diferentes continentes, diferentes nacionalidades, diferentes líneas políticas, de diferentes credos, y bueno, todos estaban y estábamos ahí reunidos con un solo propósito, que era compartir un momento. Y el enfoque de ese momento era compartir a través de la comida un simbolismo que era el de agradecer por todos los beneficios que cada uno había recibido en su momento. Es sobre este concepto del agradecimiento que quiero hacer una pequeña aportación. Hay muchísimas definiciones, hay enfoques diversos acerca de lo que es el agradecimiento. Yo me quedo con uno que desarrolló un filósofo alemán de nombre Baldwin Schwartz del siglo pasado, y él hizo todo un desarrollo filosófico acerca del agradecimiento que estaba centrado básicamente en una parte muy particular, y él lo describió como que el agradecimiento es un acto social, así tal cual, un acto social. Es decir, todo lo que a través de las diferentes etapas de la vida hemos recibido debe de manifestarse, debe notarse, debe trasladarse, debe reflejarse, así como lo dijo Mr. Steve hace un momento, en el entorno social a través de una acción. La celebración del Día de Gracias como tal se llama Día de Acción de Gracias. Y resalto la palabra acción. Es decir, hay un sentido de movimiento. La acción es movimiento, es exteriorizar, es externar. ¿Y qué se va a externar? Pues se va a externar lo recibido. No es congruente entonces que lo que hemos colectado, recibido en la vida, quede pues en el interior de cada uno de nosotros. Voy a tratar de ejemplificar lo que sería el agradecimiento en una dinámica de la vida natural, de la naturaleza. Y lo voy a hacer a través de una planta. ¿Y por qué una planta? Bueno, pues porque, como podrán darse cuenta, tengo una gran afición por las plantas y es en ellas que encuentro un ejemplo muy claro de lo que es el agradecimiento. Y no me voy a referir a una planta que ya se encuentre pues nacida y crecida en el campo, en la selva, no. Me voy a referir a una planta que llegó a mí y llegó a mí a través de una semilla. Y es un hecho de la vida real. Llega a mí a través de una semilla y entonces yo le proveo a esa semilla de una serie de elementos que le permiten crecer. Yo en su momento le di agua en un germinador, le entregué algo de espacio, luminosidad, después la trasplanté en un pequeño recipiente y en su momento logró o ha logrado hasta este punto ser esto. En sencillo vaso, pero aquí se encuentra la planta. Y es una planta de chile. Bueno, esa planta, pues después de todo lo que ha recibido, va a transformar todo eso en un fruto. En este caso, pues eran chiles, ¿verdad? Pero así como es una planta de chile, hay plantas de muchísimas cosas. Si son flores, por ejemplo, este anturio que se encuentra por aquí, es lo mismo, una planta que recibe agua, recibe atención, a veces recibe incluso plática de su cuidador, le quitamos por ahí las plagas, etcétera, etcétera, la movemos dependiendo del lugar donde se encuentre, va a manifestar todo eso a través de flores. Bien sean frutos o bien sean flores, las plantas no producen esos frutos o flores para ellas, la produce para otros, lo comparte, lo reparte a quien guste recibirlo. Entonces, esta es una dinámica que muestra de alguna manera, como todo lo que se recibe, de alguna manera, la lógica de la vida en el sentido del agradecimiento es trasladarlo a alguien más. Si traducimos este ejemplo a nuestra vida, de alguna manera, pues nosotros también tenemos la posibilidad de producir, bien sea flores, bien sean frutos, pero no para nosotros, sino para alguien más. A la luz de esto que comparto, y como manera de conclusión, pero también como reflexión, tengo 3 preguntas. Todas estas preguntas van alrededor de este concepto de este filósofo, donde decía que el agradecimiento, insisto, es un acto social. Primera pregunta con la que yo me quiero quedar y la comparto es, ¿cómo están mis actos sociales? Es decir, ¿los genero, no los genero? ¿Con qué frecuencia? ¿Hacia quiénes? ¿Cómo están mis actos sociales? Una segunda pregunta sería, ¿he logrado concretar y reflejar en los demás el agradecimiento? ¿O ha quedado como algo que yo siento, pero ahí está como guardado, ¿no? Entonces, ¿he logrado concretarlo? Y finalmente, ¿qué acciones puedo integrar a mi vida para dejar que se manifieste en los demás, pues lo que yo a mi vez he recibido? Estas preguntas van con la intención de que de alguna manera hagamos un símil de lo que ocurre con las plantas y esa luminosidad, ese abono, esa oportunidad de vida que hemos recibido queda en nosotros sin generar un fruto, sin generar flor, sin generar aroma, o logramos traducirlo en algo que sea compartido. Pues bueno, es hasta aquí mi participación, es hasta aquí mi aportación. Me parece que, bueno, Mr. Steve, Mr. George, podríamos cerrar y ver si tenemos algún comentario, alguna pregunta, alguna inquietud.
Thank you very much, Mr. Antonio. I really appreciate it. So that about wraps everything up for our meeting or our conference on Thanksgiving. I'm just looking through some of the comments section, and thank you very much for all the comments you've been making. I just like to mention a few names. Veronica, thank you very much. Gabby, thank you for your nice comments, and Norma as well. Pina, thank you very, very much for your comments. We really appreciate it. We have someone at Demirel Alaracon. She's asking for the recipe for the tequila, Mr. George, that you mentioned. I don't know if you have it with you, but maybe we could post it and let everyone find that one out.
Absolutely, yes. That will be nice. I would like to share my recipe with the rest.
Excellent.
Of the,
maybe we can write that in the comments section.
Nice.
Thank you very much for your comments, Demariel. And also Denzel, thank you very much for your comments. MLK generation 2006-2012. That's fantastic. It's always nice to see people returning and taking an interest in the school. So thank you very much, Denzel. So that's it from all of us. Thank you very much for your time this evening. And if you have any further questions, please leave a message in the comments section, and I'm sure we can get back to you at a later date. But for now, thank you very much and good evening. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
It was my pleasure.
Hasta luego.